You know what kind of irritates me is like the font, if you can look over on my bookshelf, of like a Colleen Hoover book. What is that? Like fucking Impact? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking No, I'm literally obsessed.
Hey besties, welcome to Literally Obsessed. It's Cassy
and Brittany.
How are y'all doing today?
Hey everybody.
Ladies and gents. Hi guys. If you're watching this, take a little peek of what we're wearing. Look at it, guys. Look at it. For those who are just listening and you're like, what? Brittany and I are wearing the thing I love most now in this world, our new merch. Yay! We finally have merch, guys. It's been out, if you're watching this as it's dropping, it's been out for like a week. We are so excited about it. Today is just a fun day for us because we're actually going to take pictures and like promo the merch.
Yeah.
So today's really fun for us, but for you guys, please go out and check our merch. We have the link in our description, wherever you're watching this. So please go check it out. We have a couple items on there.
Yes.
We've said in the past that like we're going to probably add a little bit more later on, but we just wanted to throw some stuff out there for you guys to enjoy. But right now, if you're listening, we're wearing our Literally Obsessed book club sweatshirt crew neck thing, in the green one, and it looks just so good.
So we have 3 different colors. It's kind of like a collegiate, we want it to look like you're part of like a tennis club or a country club, so it has like the olive branches, like the Olympic looking things, and it's really cute. We both are obsessed with the green, but we also were looking online and it's pretty common to have like a cream one or even like a baby blue, so we have those colors. We have a super cute hat that we obviously can't wear right now because we're wearing headphones. I guess we could wear it, but
probably be overstimulating
a little bit. And then we also have a tote bag. We have a shirt that I love and I want to get for myself that says Morally Gray Men on it. And then we have a couple stickers. But yeah, just wanted to drop a couple things, kind of see how you guys like it. We didn't want it to be like super overwhelming for us or for you. So a couple things, and then maybe we'll drop either like seasonally or a couple months. That way there's like always new things to shop, and like we want to get to the point where there's like inside jokes that we have with you guys, and like it could be, if you're wearing it, you know that you listen to Literally Obsessed.
It's so exciting.
We already have ideas like written down. We just haven't
pulled the plug just fully yet because we want to see how you guys like these ones. Let us know if there's anything you guys are looking out for. Maybe we can put that in our idea process. But we're really excited for them, and I hope you guys like them. Also, shout out to Patreon. If you guys are a part of our Patreon subscriptions, either a book club or book besties, I believe the book club besties, you get a discount on merch. So if you guys want to check Patreon out and get a discount, that would be sweet. Of course, that'll be in the description as well. Oh,
other than that, we've got our newsletter,
of course,
which dropped. I don't know when we're filming a couple weeks in advance.
I think it dropped, if you're listening to this, yesterday.
Okay, there you go.
If that's the first. I think that's the first.
So yeah, we have a newsletter that drops every single month on the first of the month. It's just got a little bit more insight into what we're up to, things that we're obsessed with. It's got book recs, things that are on our TBRs. We shout out small businesses that we like, and we also share our schedule for the month a little bit earlier than we do on like Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah. So be sure to check those out, guys. You guys know the drill. But today's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, this one's fun because Brittany and I love to be controversial.
Apparently.
At the end of the day, we love it. But we decided to do an episode on book hot takes that we have individually, maybe that we share. I haven't fully read yours.
I haven't read yours, so I'm excited.
Sweet, love it.
You know what's funny though is we've had this idea for a while. Like I think almost ever since we started the podcast, we were like, at some point we want to do like book hot takes, and then somebody had commented. It might have been on YouTube, but somebody was like, oh my gosh, you guys are funny, I would love to see like your hot takes. I was like, oh my gosh, girl, we're literally filming it like next week. So here you go.
You're welcome.
I can't remember your username, but Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys love to hear our opinions and then cancel us
quickly shut us down at the same time.
Just kidding. I don't think it's you guys. I think it's random
people
on TikTok.
It's okay. We're fine. We're better fine. For it, you know.
Keeps us humble.
Keeps us humble and grounded.
But I don't think that mine are like super controversial.
No. I think that these are...
I think book hot takes is just like, okay, these are, at the end of the day, guys, we're all going to have different opinions.
Yeah.
So there could be something on here that like I don't like that Cassy loves.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
That's totally fine.
And that's just what it is. That's the beauty of reading
and being...
It's up for interpretation.
Yeah. You don't have to all be the same. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine. But most of the ones that I've seen have been like on TikTok already. So I'm just like, yeah, I agree with it.
Yes. So, I kind of looked up for some to see if I like agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Or if I have even an opinion on it.
Yeah. And I'll also say disclaimer, I have not nearly read like as much as Brittany has. So maybe my hot takes will change the more I'm reading. But you guys know I'm a slow reader, so that's just what happens.
That's okay. We represent the different types of readers out there.
Yeah, we do. We actually really do.
So,
which I have something to talk about that. So this is exciting.
Okay, deals. Should we just jump right in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about your first one, because I did see your first one.
Okay.
And I think that
you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and we've been hated on it, but that's okay.
No, we did talk about this, and like we had most people agreed with us.
We just had a couple,
but there was a couple people who were like, "Oh my gosh, blah blah blah." I just had to start out
pearls,
literally like right out the gate. You guys know I've talked about it before on here. I hate a pregnancy trope.
Yeah.
Let me clarify though. I don't like it if it does not add anything to the story. If there is a purpose for the pregnancy, I feel like this is a bad example, but like let's say it ends with us. There was a whole purpose as to why she got pregnant and like that story.
Yeah.
That's okay. But for me, it's more so just the need to like wrap up the ending with a little bow and be like, and then we got married and we're pregnant, or like we had a kid. And it's like, I just feel like sometimes that's done because people think like that's a happy ending, or like
the traditional
that's
way.
Like how society wants your life to be. And like they're what book was it? I think it's, oh my gosh, I can't remember, but I think it's an Emily Henry book. But there was a book that had two different endings, and there was like I think like a UK or a Europe edition and then a US, and they had two different endings, and like the US one ended with like a pregnancy and like a proposal, but the other one didn't end like that. And I was like, I much prefer that ending because I don't know, I just think that I'm very against societal norms, and I just feel like that to me is not a happy, that you don't need those things to have a happy ending. I guess I should say that. Like, I'm perfectly okay with them just being like, they're in love and they're happy.
Yeah.
But obviously some people want them to, you know, be married and with a kid or something.
I think the perfect example of that, I still haven't fully read it yet.
I know what you're
sorry for the spoilers, ACOTAR spoilers, but in Frost and Starlight, Reese and Feyre have a fucking kid.
Yes, and it pisses me off.
I think that's why I haven't finished the book, because I knew that was coming, and I just don't, they don't need to have a kid, you know what I mean?
I think, okay, this is going to be hard because I know you haven't read Silver Flames yet. So I'll try to say this without spoilers.
I know a lot of spoilers. So if you do say something, it's probably already know it.
Okay. Well, so listen, I am unapologetically a Nesta hater. Okay. I know that there's people out there who feel the same way, but I know a lot of people don't. I understand that. Basically, I think the purpose of them having a kid was for Nesta to have a story arc and kind of have her moment in the end, and like the character arc and like her hero journey, if you will. So I understand. I don't agree.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the entire story was riding on them having a kid and the pregnancy and like the birth of their kid. And I just feel, and this is just how I feel in real life, just about children. I don't really want kids, making that clear right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, kids just like kind of end your life. You know what I mean? And like
they end that chapter of your life, for sure.
That chapter, yeah. And then people will be like, it's the start of a brand new life, and I'm like, well, that's how I know I'm not ready for kids.
Yeah,
because to me my life would be over if I had a child.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like that for Reese and Feyre. I was like, they had so much more, I think, that could have happened with their story before having a kid.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I feel like that closed that chapter for them, and now they're parents.
I could see it being later on in the story.
I could see them having kids.
But it was right after things finally started settling down. You know, like right after they've just won this victory that they went straight into that next chapter, which it was just, I don't know. That's why I'm really
I think it was accidental, but you know what I mean?
Yes, and there was a lot of foreshadowing that it was probably going to be coming anytime soon. So I get that, but also I get it, accidents happen, but you're a writer, you don't have to write the accident.
No, it's true.
That's more on purpose then.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think I also just hate the pressure that authors, this typically in romance books, that authors feel like they have to, in that last chapter or in the epilogue, throw in that they had a kid or that they're pregnant or that they got engaged. To me, it just almost feels like it rushes along the story when it's like, it was a solid ending where it is. And I just kind of wished that we would take away that pressure from authors, that like that is a happy ending. You know what I mean? Yeah, and just let them finish the book how they want. Because I've read a lot of romance books, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, I wish I didn't read the epilogue because I was happy with where it was or something.
Well, I feel like that is what the ending is supposed to like intend, is for your own interpretation of what these characters are going through now, like in present day when you're reading it. But when writers just fully lay out the rest of their life and you're like, well, okay, I didn't think they were going to have a kid until later on. Yeah. So I think it just sometimes will stop the interpretation of the reader, which isn't always fun. Yeah. But maybe that's because we're biased and we don't want children.
Yeah. I mean, like it very well could be. Like, to me, I'm like, ugh.
Like, maybe later on I will like a child, but the same way as these book characters. Like, I don't want them right now.
Exactly.
I want happiness in my hot boyfriend. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
But I mean, I know that's one some people feel very passionately about kids, and then other people are like, no, it ruins the story.
If you want your character to get knocked up, then be my guest, whatever.
The accent.
But I feel like a Southern woman would have to say it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not my cup of tea. And if it's your cup of tea, then keep sipping, honey. It's all right.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if there is a purpose for it, yes. If not, it's like, it doesn't need it. But that's how I feel about, like, I don't know, anything that's included in a story.
Even sometimes marriage, like the concept of getting married in a book, which I haven't read too many, but it's
especially if like the character is very against marriage and then all of a sudden they get married in the end.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess people change, but it's just weird.
Yeah. I guess I'm rambling now about this, but I'm just literally so against societal norms that I'm just like, can we finally fucking break out of this already? Like, and not, I don't know. I feel like, especially as a woman, and this could be like a whole thing on its own, but there's just so much pressure on women to like get a boyfriend, get married. On your wedding night, people are like, when are you trying for kids? And it's like, can I just enjoy this moment? Can I enjoy being like a wife for a minute? Yeah. You know? Or even like when you're engaged, people are like, well, when's the wedding? It's like, I know that I would want to have a long engagement and like enjoy it.
That's so true.
You are probably, maybe not, and that's okay, but you are probably only going to be engaged once in your life. Yeah. So why am I going to rush that? I'm totally okay with having like a year to a year and a half long engagement.
I think because the engagement process is like,
it's fun.
It's supposed to be exciting. You're like really promising this person you're going to be with them forever. And you're like planning out your wedding. If you have a wedding, like some people don't even want a wedding.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's totally fine. So I don't know. I just think I think that's like the fun part of it. Yeah. So for books, it's easy to write that. It's easy to write like the good parts of it. You don't need to rush it and like have them just go to the next step. It just feels too rushed.
I mean, that's just me being against the patriarchy. So
I get it, girl. I do think if I see my life in a timeline, I'm like, I would like to be engaged by 28.
That's fair.
And be engaged for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I also think like I'm like, it's going to depend when the proposal happens, because I know what time of year I want to get married.
What is it?
I would like to get married like September, October.
You fall said wedding. You want your wedding, right, to be like Twilight. And I told you about the Brooklyn and Bailey, their ones, right? Did I ever show you pictures? Did,
yeah.
And I was like, I could so see you having a foresty wedding.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Oh, we really are sidetracking here. Now we're getting into Brittany's life.
I love Brittany's life. Tell us, Brittany.
No, I was just going to say, I think we live in Southern California, in case you guys didn't know. And I was like, there's not many places, I think, that give off the Twilight vibe that I want. And I did already tell John, my boyfriend, he knows very well where I stand on marriage and kids and all of that. And I had told him, like, well, I was like, if and when we get married, I would like it to be a Twilight wedding. Yeah. Like, I'm just making that clear right now. And he was like, I do know some places. He's from more like Central California. And he was like,
more nature
I know more places that are up there that I think are going to be exactly what you want. But I don't know. Again, it's too much plan. But yeah, I'm like, I don't even know where I would want it to be, because we need to be considerate of our friends and family.
But traveling. It's your day, and like if it's in California, it's easy to go.
I know
it's easy to get there.
You know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'll bring you guys along on the entire engagement journey. I promise.
Freak out. Don't even get me started, Brittany. I could start crying thinking about it. So,
we literally have had so many friends that are like, are you guys like planning on getting married soon? And we're like, why? And they're like, I just like want to go to a wedding. No. I'm like, do you guys know the financial commitment? I don't have enough money to get married. I know. It doesn't matter if I want to get married tomorrow. I think for what I know are just like, we have already talked about things that are like a non-negotiable at the wedding.
Yeah. No, that's
it's
how you
too expensive. We've had people tell us, I'm like, guys, we're poor.
I know.
I'm also just like, I'm chilling. I'm fine being a girlfriend right now.
I know.
And I've told John that before. I've told him in the past, ladies, make your boundaries clear with your man.
Absolutely.
I was like, if you propose to me anytime soon, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna say no. And that doesn't mean no forever. It just means at this moment.
And that's valid.
No.
Totally valid. You should do it when you're ready.
Yeah.
When the both of you are ready.
Yeah. I think like now it's more like we have had more conversations and stuff, but I do think he's very he wants to pick out the ring, and I'm like, no, I'd like to have a say.
You should have a say.
I think I should. Thank you so much.
Do you send him anything?
No. I think there will be more conversation.
Okay.
I think if he would genuinely surprise me. If it came like next week, I'd be like, whoa. Wait. We need to have a couple more conversations first. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also just not one of those girls. This is totally okay if you're like that, but you know those girls that are like, well, if he would stop dragging his feet and propose already. And it's like, you guys work that out in private. We don't all need to know your business.
Know that business, yeah.
So I've just never been one of those girls who's like that, or like would
waiting for
be putting pressure on my boyfriend to propose. I'm really, I don't know.
There's no rush.
There's no rush. Really, and I've literally told John too, I was like, if we just mutually decide we don't want to get married, that's also fine.
Then you just live with that. That's okay.
That's literally chill.
You just live as you already are.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, maybe marriage just leads to, I don't know, trouble.
I know. Maybe
the divorce rate is too high over here.
Brittany, you know I'd fuck up a wedding.
I know. You know that we would.
John would make that DJ playlist.
Trust me. John's John's brother, is a DJ, and he has many DJ friends. We were like, we would not make him DJ because we obviously want him to enjoy the party, but we will ask one of his friends. So I think that like we'll get a pretty good discount, and like also they will fuck it up on the dance floor.
I can also see John just like trying to just get into like the DJ, and he's just like,
no, he unfortunately,
and you're like, John, get down.
I'm worried about him and his friends. I will be honest. I'm gonna have a long conversation with them.
To be like, guys, Brittany too. Like,
I'm gonna
Brittany's
have to be
here.
Like, boys, let's set some ground rules before you come, because please know, like, my grandparents will be there, and like we can't get too crazy, you know.
Boys is crazy.
Boys, yeah, they're children.
Oh my god, it would just
peace and love.
Would just be so iconic.
No, I think that's the problem. Is I think we have already discussed things that are non-negotiables, and we're like, this is gonna be expensive. It's just gonna be expensive.
But truly though, like,
it's a once in a lifetime thing.
It's a once in a lifetime thing, and also like there's no rush to do it.
Yeah. I also think I would be okay doing like I don't know, some people just like not necessarily elope, but like you elope and then like have a wedding later.
Oh, I'd be okay with that. Like, very smart decision.
If whatever, if we don't have the money, or because
you can just do like a small little thing at like the courthouse.
Exactly.
Or you can just have Joey officiate your wedding.
I think Joey is gonna officiate
I think you have
wedding.
to.
I've already offered it to him. We're not engaged, we're not anything, but I told him like
he would be a really bad friend. Joey's our friend.
Yeah.
We have a friend named Joey.
We are fighting on whose side he would be with. I think it would definitely be mine.
To be you.
Thank you so much. But John was fighting that he should be on his side, and I said, let's have a happy medium, and he'll officiate.
But I think secretly he's going to be a bridesmaid.
I think so too. And Joey said that he doesn't care as long as he gets to go to both parties, the bachelorette and the bachelor. And I said, that's fine. I literally don't care.
Shit, he's got
a point. I was like, I literally don't care. Go to both.
You know what? Good for Joey.
No, I know
if he's going to officiate that wedding, he's got to see it all.
And I support it.
I support it too.
Yeah.
That's going to be really fun.
It's so funny. But that's enough about me.
Sorry guys, I really love talking about that shit. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I promise as it becomes more real, we'll talk about it more.
Yeah,
if y'all want to know.
I'm just so nosy. It really sucks. Anyway,
back to tropes.
back to the
or
worst
back to
things.
Hot takes.
Okay, I need you to follow me here.
Okay, I'm listening.
So this is slightly directed towards Fourth Wing. But like, hold on.
Wait, did you also do things that you like that might be a hot take? Or is
maybe.
It just things... Okay, I did things also that I like. So, okay, I'm scared
actually,
now.
Maybe I didn't.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
Maybe I did.
I like
this one is...
She's keeping us on our, on her toes.
On
our toes.
Maybe. Okay, so I was saying it takes me out when authors don't describe a character that is named. So let me explain this slightly. Small like side characters that really don't have a purpose or role in the story, especially in that moment.
Okay.
It bothers me because I get really hyper fixated just in general, and it stresses me out because I'm like, okay, well, do I need to remember this name? Are they going to be a significance? Do I need to come back and reread this? Why are they named? Because most side characters aren't named. Why are they named? Who are they? What's their backstory? Why are they here? How did they get here? How was the rest of their day? I like get into overthinking mode.
You're into the lore.
I'm super into the lore, and it happened a lot in Fourth Wing.
You know what that's giving though? You know how Rebecca had posted that one thing that was like, she said that she was in the writing process and she was like, oh, no, I killed him off. What about her? No, I killed her off. So if it makes you feel better, I think she's not keeping track either.
I don't think she does either. I don't think she does. Like, what pissed me off was the beginning of Fourth Wing, as if I'm not going to even say spoiler warning because if you're listening to the pod, you already fucking know. But Dylan. Yeah. Bye.
Well, I think that was actually great writing on her part though, because I had a feeling something bad was going to happen to him because right out the gate, this guy was like a perfect little angel boy, and she really made us care about him in like 1 to 2 pages before just killing him off. And I think that was a very like
this place is dangerous.
Yes, it was an impactful start to show that like nobody is safe.
No, and that's like totally chill with me. It was more like into the series that we're reading so far, where like they'll just be a person and we'll be like, who was that?
No, I
get hyper fixated on it very easily. And I think in some like romance books that I've read, some side characters, I'm just like, I know you're serving a purpose for this chapter, but sometimes it's not like for the story. And so I get I just overthink.
That's fair.
That's my hot take, is I overthink on like the little things when I'm like, is this intended for a reason? Or I don't know.
Maybe it's like in movies when it's like there's a side character, maybe you never even hear their name, but then when the credits come, they have a name. And you're like, we never even discussed their name. Maybe it's like so they can get into character.
Right.
So they can think about all that stuff.
See, maybe it's intended.
She's foreshadowing the movie.
She's foreshadowing. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening. So it's not a very frustrating hot take I have, but when I was sitting and writing stuff, I was like, I do get kind of annoyed.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, that's mine.
Okay, next up I have, I actually sometimes like a third act breakup.
Ooh, okay. I can kind of get behind that.
So, yes, they give me anxiety. But it's like I always know it is gonna work out in the end, and sometimes I just enjoy the last little bit that throws you off, and it's like there's surely no way we can get back from this.
Yeah.
And then like getting to see that journey of them getting back to being okay.
I think it makes it more real and realistic because there's problems in every relationship.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the more times you like have to break and then you come back together, it makes you stronger.
Yeah. And I feel like I especially like books where it's some sort of plot twist that's why like they broke up or something like that.
No, I think that's...
But I know that a lot of people hate a third act breakup.
I feel like it will depend on the character's like closeness and their relationship at the start. Like if it isn't strong, people are going to get anxious because they're gonna like, this is it. This is going to kill him. Like this is going to be it. But if they're very strong, then, I mean, we've seen it in the Empyrean series where they just like to just fuck around and not be great to each other.
It's true.
But we hold in hope that they're going to work it out.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's because of their strength of their relationship. So that's just like life.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen.
In your third act.
Okay. This is one I have that I think I might have seen you write. So I'm sorry if I stole.
Go for it.
But please add. If a book doesn't have a catchy name or a catchy book cover, it takes me a lot more to be convinced to read it.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to hate because I know book art or like book covers are sometimes not always intentional, and like people like authors will just slap on a book cover or they will make something intentional, blah, blah, blah. But it's like if it doesn't look cute on my bookshelf, then I don't know if I am do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, what I wrote down is I will judge a book by its cover.
That's very fair.
I just
That's
feel
real.
Yeah, I do feel like, I mean, let's take like Fourth Wing for example.
Yeah.
Some of the most beautiful books I've ever seen in my life. Perfect.
She's glowing.
That the book is like just as is better. So then that makes me love it even more. But yeah, sometimes like what kind of irritates me is like the font, if you can look over on my bookshelf, of like a Colleen Hoover book. What is that? Like fucking Impact? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking I think it is. But like, okay, I'm reading currently Variation by Rebecca Yarros. It's a cute cover though, and like I'm enjoying it so far, but same font. And I feel like I've noticed that for a lot of romance books. They use that exact font, and sometimes it just kind of puts me off because I'm like, why do they all look the same? Let's have some originality here, you know?
I know that Colleen Hoover, I'm sure, does it for a aesthetic reason.
I think so.
Like all her books look the same mostly. I mean, not even Verity looks different because it's a different book. Because it was written by a ghostwriter.
Right.
But Emily Henry, hers is like very bold.
She does use the same font.
She does use the same font that I'm looking. And then I don't know, I just
love a good cover.
I love a good cover.
And I love when there's like an Easter egg on the cover that you don't discover until after you finish the book.
Funny story has lemons in it. Like it's...
And then Cassie asked me when she read it, she said, is there a significance to the lemons? And I went, I don't think so. And then she went, so Brittany, there was definitely a significance to the lemons.
It was kind of a small detail though, so it's not...
Went right over my head.
I just remember reading and being like, oh, how do I break this to her and not make her feel dumb?
No, it's okay. I couldn't remember.
It's very small. To be fair, it's very small. It doesn't get really brought up again. But no, I just think that like, even as a kid, I remember when I would read like books, if it didn't have a good pictures in it,
right,
then I don't really want to read it.
Yeah. But
that's just me. Maybe it's me being judgy and whatever. We all do it.
It's true.
But it just at least is the first impression, I will say. And I think that's very important for authors to realize. It might be like the best book, but with the ugliest cover, I might not know until someone recommends it and says, look past it.
It is like, okay, I know that we all know what like Icebreakers about, but I think what's her name? Hannah Grace or something like that. Is that her name? Hannah
something.
Okay, whatever. Books that are that style, like I avoid. I don't know why. I just like something about them irritates me, and I just it's like even if they're great books, I've avoided them.
I think it sends me back to my Wattpad days. Mm-hmm. I have Icebreaker on my bookshelf because I think one day I just need to read it for the bit.
Yeah, I think I've read like a scene or a chapter and I was like,
seen the scene.
Yeah.
I've read the scene that they talk about. And it's very like, the book isn't young romance, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the cover looks like it's for like teenagers.
Yeah.
You know
I think that's
mean?
what it is. It's kind of misleading.
Very misleading. It's not for like, I don't know, it doesn't feel very mature. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I mean, also probably if you're asking like a classical like reader, they think that like funny story, any romance books don't also look very mature. But
I don't know. I just love a pretty book.
Yeah,
to put on my bookshelf. So,
are you a paperback or a hardcover girl?
I think when I was younger, I was a hardcover, and I think now as an adult, I'm getting more into paperbacks. Mm-hmm. My problem is, I guess this is a hot take, because some people love like breaking the spine of their book. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. And ever since I was a kid, I think that I had a little rambunctious phase. So I had a phase where like I would just be like throw my books around. I would dog tag the pages and all of that. And then it was like one day I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And like I was keeping my books in pristine condition. I was only using bookmarks. I would not dog tag. I would not highlight. I wouldn't do anything. And I feel like that's why today I have like mixed feelings about annotations, because it's like I don't want to ruin the
damage the book. Yeah.
And like I remember that I would read, and if it was a paperback, I would like literally sometimes barely open it, because it's like I wanted it to look pristine.
Really?
And so now I feel like having a Kindle, it's like I'll read it on my Kindle and then buy the book as like a trophy. Yeah. And then it gets to stay in pristine condition.
See, so you finally got your wish. It's the best of both worlds.
But it's like I get though that like sometimes it's like fun for a book to look loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love looking at people's annotations. I just know that I wouldn't be able to. I'm not like artistically talented
to make it look aesthetic.
Exactly.
And like
I'd fuck it up, and then I'd be upset that I ruined
your book.
I even my aunt got me like a little stamp. And she personalized it, and it says something like from the library of Brittany Fuentes. Yeah. And so I can stamp my books. And at first I was like,
really?
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to like do something that's gonna alter this book forever. I've gotten over it now.
Okay, good.
It's really fucking cute. To like really cute. Yeah. And then I was just like, how fun, like one day, I mean, I don't like look forward to giving these books away or anything, but like one day either I'm gonna have to like give away the books, or I don't know, they're gonna get passed down or something. It's just like how cute that's always gonna be in there now. It looks like really a little adorable library checkout thing.
Yeah, it's so cute. And I think I need more books to do that.
I know. I do think it's so cute. Like I love the idea of annotating a book and giving it to somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. But I just can't get myself to do it.
That's true love to me. That's how you show you're caring, because you really want to show this book and the thought process.
It's like in the Likely Event, they would like give each other their favorite books. So cute.
I love it. It's a love language, I think.
I don't know. Once I get a little bit more confident in my artistic skills,
maybe then you'll I feel for me, I just fuck up every book I have, unfortunately. I think I've
seen you bring books to work and you do just like you throw them in your backpack.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Truly, I have the side where it's like it's being loved, and like I'll put my book anywhere. They kind of get fucked up, but then once you do put them on a bookshelf, it's just like, yeah, you can kind of see the creases. But I remember my time with that book. Like I like to read physical books.
Hardback or paperback?
I think it's easier to read a paperback for me, like the way I'm holding it. But aesthetically, I love a hardcover.
Yes, yeah.
So I will always try to get a hardcover, but if not, that's okay. But I think I love using my Kindle, don't even get me wrong, but sometimes reading like a physical book, it just feels...
There's a great feeling.
There's a really good feeling about it.
Like how they smell.
Yeah, and just being in my bed and like curled up with it just makes me feel like a nice old lady, like who's just calm and chill.
It's fair.
So I don't know. It just depends on like what I'm doing, but I really do fuck up a book, unfortunately. people who are like really stingy of how your book looks would hate me.
Maybe I'll change, you know, maybe one day I'll stop feeling that way, but as of right now, unfortunately,
I have type A personality sometimes, but I'm more type B.
Even like it's bad when I go and like buy a book, I'm like assessing how it looks, because I want like the most pristine book. Like I'll be pissed off if I like bring it home and I see like a scratch or a dent in it or something. I know. I learn more about Brittany every day. Maybe I have OCD.
It's like, maybe that does sound a little, but maybe it's just because you really care.
Yeah. That's all it is.
That's it, right?
This one, I saw this online and I was like, I think I agree with this, so I feel the need to share. I think that being able to figure out the ending of a book, especially with like a thriller, doesn't mean it's a bad book. Because I feel like sometimes people love to be like, I figured out the ending 2 chapters in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't think that that's necessarily bad writing though, because sometimes that's the whole intention of the book, is to see if you can figure it out. I agree. So I love when I'm right, but I also love when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the thriller I've read is Verity, and I thought I had an idea of how it was going to end, and I was very wrong. But I don't think that it would ruin it. You know? If anything, I'd be like, oh, let's see if I'm on the same brainwave as this author,
right?
And how you're going to write it,
right?
You know?
Yeah, I think that it's like I love being like proven wrong in a book and being like, whoa, this went a completely different way. But at least for me, like I love being able to predict like the ending of movies or books. So when I get it right, it's like good job, Brittany. Yeah, like I feel good about myself.
I agree. I feel like in movies though, it's like I hate when other people put their thought into my head before, because then I'm like, well, actually, that ruins it, because I would like to interpret it of like, oh, this is how it's gonna end,
right?
So maybe just don't spoil it for other people, and then you'll like it, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, we've talked about this. This is very small for people who read on Kindles. This isn't a very hot take. It's just more of a what we do ? Sometimes I feel like I rush my reading when I'm reading on a Kindle, because Brittany and I have talked about this. We're trying to beat that little timer or the little like minutes to end of chapter like countdown that it has.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it rushes my reading.
That's fair.
But that's no one's fault except for mine, of my competitiveness.
Yeah, I have to catch myself. I feel like it's usually at the beginning of books.
Yeah.
When it's slower, I catch myself starting to skim.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this isn't important. And then it's like a lot of times I probably miss something.
Yeah.
So that's just a me problem. But yeah, I do love beating the timer.
If I can really get it underneath like the time it thinks I'm gonna do it, I win a badge.
I love being like at work, like on a break.
Yep.
And like, you know, we bring our Kindles to work and like read on our breaks. And so it's like sometimes if the chapter it says like 7 minutes, I know I have to go back to work in like 8. I'm like, I could do it in 6.
Yeah.
And then have a minute of free like time to myself. And I love being able to, I don't know why. It's a competitive side of me, I guess.
I think for us it's a little niche because of the what we do.
Yeah.
But I genuinely, when we're taking our breaks, I'm always timing it. I'm like, I think I could finish a chapter and a half.
No, I look at how much time I have on my break and I go, how many chapters can I read?
Girl, I've also gotten to the point where I'm at the finish the book, like hours until you finish the book. When I did it with in the Likely Event, I did it 2 hours underneath the time it thought I was gonna do it. And I said, I'm just a pro. Probably missed a lot of shit, but I'm a pro. Yeah, I'm a pro reader.
There you go.
I don't know. Do you guys like that feature on Kindle? I think that's what sold me, because Brittany was like, you should get a Kindle. She so graciously gave me hers. But it's because of that little countdown.
There's crack in there. I swear.
A crack?
There's crack.
Oh, there's crack in it. Yeah. Yeah.
There's something in there that's got me addicted.
But I don't, it just, maybe we're just so competitive.
Yeah. That's, I guess, an us problem.
Sorry.
Okay. This one I think might be controversial, but I stand by it. This is just a personal opinion. I do not enjoy third-person books.
Girl, I have my one. Mine says one way to piss me off is third person.
Yeah. And I have seen people have like obviously varying opinions on this. And I remember seeing somebody who was like, oh, I love third person because it makes it feel more like a fairy tale. Because if you've ever like...
Yeah, like a fairy tale book.
Yeah, like it's always going to be in third person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I get that. Like that makes sense. It's just something about, to me, I don't feel like I connect with the main character. And I just love being from one person's point of view and seeing how they're thinking and how they're interpreting things and like sympathizing with them. And I feel like that's why in Silver Flames I never got there with Nesta because it was third person. I feel like I couldn't really see what was going on inside of her head. I never felt that connection with her that I like had with Feyre for the other books. So I don't know, it's like taking me a long time to get through Harry Potter, as you guys know.
Yeah.
I understand why it's third person, but it is just like hard. I feel like you're not centered on like one character. And like right now I'm kind of reading Throne of Glass. It's hard for me because that one's in third person. Yeah. I'm like, I just want to know what she's thinking. I don't want to. It almost feels like I'm seeing it as like an overhead perspective rather than living it with the character.
I agree. I think the feeling that you get when you are like relating to a character or you see yourself as a character can like open a bigger portal when you're reading a book, and when you're reading third person it like closes that and it makes you feel like you can't fully imagine yourself in that world, in that realm. Even with like if it's not even fantasy, I still feel like reading in third person, I'm in my head going, wait, I need to like reread again what's happening with these people. I'm not as like focused, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I also think like I've seen people say that they prefer third person because a lot of times when you're in first person, you're in somebody's brain, you have their like biases and you have maybe they are keeping things from the reader, but like in third person that kind of takes that out. But I do sometimes I feel like this is more in like thriller books, I sometimes like that twist of like you were in somebody's mind the entire time thinking one thing and then maybe that didn't turn out to be true.
I agree.
And it's like you kind of feel like you got played. I don't know, I kind of enjoy that. I agree.
I think that that's the fun part of writing in first person because as a reader,
from their perspective,
as a reader you don't know what to expect. But when you're in third person you kind of see everyone else's point of view too. So I don't know, it becomes very foggy to me. So
definitely.
But I don't know, y'all like it?
Let us know.
Maybe also I haven't read a really good third person book. Maybe there's one out there that would change my mind, but I highly doubt it. I don't know about this, but this one's okay.
Just say it, girl.
Sexual tension scenes or sexual scenes, anything like that, being split up because of like uncomfortable conversation that's about their relationship. I hate it when something disturbs a good moment, steamy moment. It bothers me.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
know it's for the tease, I know it's for like the anticipation, but there's nothing more than reading Violet and Xaden arguing in the middle of something that could have just been fun.
Okay, that's fair.
I get it, but that's why it's a hot take.
Yeah.
You have thoughts? I feel like you have some thoughts.
No, I think I agree with you.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. It takes me out of the moment.
It was making me think of another hot take that I saw that I was like, do I agree with that enough to write it? But somebody online had said, if it's going to be a closed door romance, just like don't even bother. And I was like, so fair.
That's very fair.
I agree because I have read like more YA or like closed door romances where it's like, oh, they're building all this tension and then it's like next chapter, so next day we woke up in each other's beds and it's like, oh, what happened? Let us in. You know,
I agree.
I'm nosy, I want to know everything.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's either that or it's not, you know what I mean? It's either we expose all the stuff that they've been doing or we just interpret, hey, okay, yeah, they slept together because they were in the same room,
right?
But for me it's just when, you know, you they say something, and I don't know. I'm not going to get too into our sex lives here, but because we're not call
scared.
We're not call her daddy, whatever. Is having an uncomfortable conversation like that in the middle of a moment,
right?
Like so you're gonna be moving away to like Afghanistan, right? Like, yeah. Do you see what I mean?
No, yeah.
It bothers me, and if that happened to me, I would just be like, all right, I guess we're talking.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
I don't know.
I'm like, it kind of gives it gives the same effect when like they're, especially in fantasy books, they're like, things are heating up, and then they're like, are you on the magical birth suppressant?
Get
and
that
they're
out
like,
of here.
me too. Like, of course we just had to make sure that we weren't gonna have little children running. It's like, oh my god, just get into it. We don't need to know. We don't need to know. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna infer,
or they stop it, and it's like, I hear the foil rip of a condom wrapper. It's like, oh my god, I actually don't give a fuck. Just move on.
It's like telling a story to your friend. Would you say those things? Would you be like, oh yeah, don't worry, we were both wondering if
don't worry guys, he used a condom. It's like, okay,
I'm just gonna not know, and I don't care to know about that kind of stuff. It takes me out of the damn moment.
Yeah,
we've talked about how we hated that moment so many times.
I mean, I'm glad, like in the Empyrean series, she said it once, she never did it again.
She's never done it again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, I don't know, I just hate it, and it's always in fantasy books.
In ACOTAR, they mentioned it a lot, which was like the foreshadowing, I think, was when because
she does talk about getting off of it.
Yeah, she talks about getting off
or
of
not
it.
Taking it
She's
anymore.
like, oh, I'm not on it, should I start taking it? And then like he's like, it's all right. And then also,
or like when they're mates, he's like, we have to get you on the herbal tea, the herbal birth control tea. It's just like
weird.
Dude,
I don't know.
It's like, again, going back to your point, you're the author, just don't.
You don't have to.
Just don't do it.
You don't have to.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's so funny.
I appreciate that they're being safe, but it's just too much.
Okay. So this one is fun. So I personally tend to enjoy shorter chapters. I feel like it is more like easily digestible for me, and I can break down the story at an attainable like length and goal.
Yep.
So I had this conversation with John actually, and I had told him like about how I like to beat the timer and like, or I'll like be like, oh, this chapter is like 28 minutes. And he's like, don't worry about the chapter. Like, if it's a good story, it's a good story. And I'm like, you're right. Or like, you know, when I talk about how many pages are in a book or something, he's like, it doesn't matter. Is the story good? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, then that's all you need. I'm like, so fair. But I just feel like for me, I prefer to see like 5 to 10 minutes left in chapter over like 28 to 30 something minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's a lot for me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to finish this chapter.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. I think especially when it's a bigger book, you're expecting that most of the chapters are probably going to be pretty long. But it's just easy to digest when you're reading a smaller chapter.
Yeah. And it's like, I do agree. Like when you're into a story, it's like, it doesn't really matter. You're just going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I need to turn that feature off at times because it overwhelms me. I don't know.
That's very fair.
Yeah, there are just some times where I'm like, I see 25 minutes left in chapter and I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah. This is going to be a long one.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, even then I'm like trying to pick apart like the information that's being given because I'm like, is this really important or is it filler for like just this chapter?
Right.
So I tend to overthink.
Yeah.
I gotta not do that no more, but I gotta lock in. But even with like how big books are, that'll turn me off too. I'm like intimidated. It took me forever to get through Wings and Ruin.
Yeah, it's
because I was like, it's huge, and I know those chapters are long.
Yeah,
that's fair. John is wise for that, but I also don't know if that'll change anytime soon. Okay, this is small. We've talked about it before. When they repeat info that's been given to the audience, and they obviously know, like we've talked about this recently, I think, where if it's like the start of a second book in the series, they'll say something like a character and then a small sentence about who they are.
Right.
But it's like, I hate to say it, they're the main character. I don't think I forgot that. Like, Xaden the Shadow Wielder. Like, I think I remember. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe for the people who like picked up the book years later,
right,
they would need a refresh. But it just bothers me. Like, do we need it, guys? Like, what's our group poll? Like, what do we all think?
I feel that way with Harry Potter. So I'm only on book 4 and I truly had to take a break from it. Yeah. Even though that's my favorite movie. But anyway, the first 3 books, I think even into the 4th one, every beginning of the book would start off with like Harry Potter, the boy who lived, the boy who blah blah blah, and Voldemort, the Dark Lord, and it would go through with every character. And it's like, I mean, obviously at this point we are very well,
we know what's
happening, and like I've seen the movies countless times. I was like, I know the information. Stop. So I had to remind myself, like, these are kids books, or like started out as like kids into young adult, especially the beginning. The writing feels very like childlike, and I don't mean that as like a dig to her writing. I just mean
it was for the audience.
Like, a kid's book. And I think on to like the 4th one and on is kind of where it starts to get a little bit more adult. But when I had told John about that, he was like, well, Brittany, you have to remember that these books were coming out like years apart from each other, so like there's that refresh. And I was like, that's very fair. But I was like, I also just feel like if you're reading this, if you're following this series, Harry Potter's on the fucking cover. We know who he is. You know,
I agree.
So I don't know, just stuff like that kind of bothers me. Like, I'm already expecting it for Onyx Storm because she kind of did it in Iron Flame.
I think so.
So
I'm like, I actually would like a refresher on all the other people that we barely talk about, rather than the people I hyperfixate already on.
Exactly.
It sometimes bothers me. But I'm not an author, so I don't know.
Okay, so next up I have okay, sometimes I wish that things didn't get adaptations, because I love the way that my mind sees the story, and anything else that is not that will like kind of ruin it for me. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I'm kind of torn on this one, because I love being able to like see things on the big screen. And like I especially love if it's like, that's exactly how I pictured it. Like, they made my vision come to life. But for some things like ACOTAR, I'm a little bit like torn on if I actually want it to be either a movie or a TV show, because it's like, I would love to see it, like, you know, acted out
scene by scene.
But then it's like, I have such an accurate description of like how I view like Valaris, or how I view their house, or how I view them as characters, that it's like, I just don't want anything to like taint my personal
ruin your idea
vision of it. You know what I mean?
1000%.
And so like I'm worried about Fourth Wing.
I'm worried. Sweating about it.
Like, I hope that it like exceeds my expectations. I hope that, like, I don't know, they include all the important information, and like hopefully it's like, oh my god, that's how I pictured it. I feel like a lot of us are like on the same page with how we picture things, so it will be like super cool to see it in real life. But there's just something like how I picture Xaden. I'm just like, I know that no matter who it is, it's not going to be what I picture, and it makes me sad.
I think they're fake people, so I don't think there's one person in the world that will look exactly like him, because it's made up in our mind.
It's so funny because Lauren Roberts, who wrote Powerless, and I think it's gonna be a movie or a TV show.
Something like that.
But they asked her, like, who would you like fan cast as Kai, who's like the main guy. I know you haven't read it yet, and she was like, guys, I'm being so for real right now. There is like no one perfect enough to play what I have in my mind. And I was like, that's exactly so true. And like, imagine being an author and like handing over this work of art that you have, and like,
how scary.
So scary. And like, you are like, I know for a fact no one's gonna be able to and hopefully they do, but
I think that there's always going to be a separation between the book and the adaptation of it. There's always going to be one thing that people, if you loved the entire adaptation, there's going to be probably one thing at least you're like, I don't like that. So it won't ever be perfect, but at least get the majority of it good. You know?
And I mean, it's hard, right? Like, I keep going back to Harry Potter in this episode, but growing up, I didn't read the books, as you guys know. And so I watched the movies. I grew up with the movies. So like for me, I'm in this weird spot where the movies are something I hold so like near and dear to my heart. And I'm like, the books are like, I kind of think I like the movies more, which I know is like a really hot take. You know, I do like, there's information that I'm getting in the books that is obviously not shown on the screen. It's making a lot more sense. Like sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I was kind of like, what exactly is the significance of the Sorcerer's Stone? I read it. I was like, now that makes so much more sense. Like I'm getting more information, but it's like, just since that's what I saw first, I like hold those characters, and I think that they were so perfectly cast, and like that is what I picture. So as I'm reading it, it's kind of weird because I'm picturing the movie as I'm reading it. I'm not like making up my own interpretation.
No, that's very fair. That's very, very, very fair. I think it just depends on like the order of what you've enjoyed and like how you know the story.
Right.
Of course, I don't know if I'll ever get to reading Harry Potter. I just think that
you never read it? I thought you have.
I've read it like since I was like a long time.
All of them?
Like I don't think all of them.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was like maybe up to book 4, maybe. But this was like
like
yonders ago when I was like 7, 8. But I couldn't tell you anything that happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would reread them again.
Yeah.
But that's just because I love the movie so much. So it just depends, I think, of how you like get the content.
Exactly.
And how you interpret it.
Yeah.
But we have another episode to talk about all that kind of stuff.
It's true.
Pretty soon.
Coming soon.
Okay. This is kind of a hot take that I've recently developed, and I think you've noticed too.
Okay.
Is it takes me a couple reads through the first couple chapters to get through a book. Now, I would like to relate this to music, because I think I've also realized this in the past couple years, is when any music that drops, I do not enjoy it the first time I listen to it. I'm very actually similar. Hate it.
Yeah.
And then once it's the second or third time I'm listening to it, I finally like get into it. It's the same thing for books, I've realized. I did it for Verity. I did it for In the Likely Event. Like, I don't know why I couldn't get hooked the first time.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I think maybe the expectations are there, and I'm like, okay. And then when it's just starting off like the world building, regardless of what the book is, I'm just so overwhelmed and I'm not processing it. So maybe the first couple times I read it, I'm understanding. But
yeah, I think this kind of goes into my last point that I have. So I have always been this way since I was a kid, but a lot of times I'll like read the first like 2, 3, maybe 4 chapters. If I'm not hooked, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, or like, yeah, sometimes it does take a reread because it's like, maybe it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
And so I'll just say my last hot take is I think it's okay to DNF a book.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. And I feel like that took a long time for me to be okay with, because I was somebody who was very against like DNFing. And if you don't know what that means, just in case, like, did not finish.
Yeah.
So yeah, for a long time I was not okay with that, and I would like force myself to get through books. And then I feel like I just kind of got to this point where I was like, reading is fun for me. It's a hobby. It's like an escape from the world for me. So why am I putting myself through this like torturous thing?
You don't need to force yourself into reading something.
Life is too short to read a crappy book.
You don't want to
know what I mean? Yeah. And so I feel like now I'm at the point where, and like I've said this before, I don't exactly always match my books to the season, but I, you know, if it's the summer, I love reading a good summer romance, and like the fall, I love reading more like fantasy or thrillers. It just kind of goes with like, I love when, I don't know, let's say it's like Christmas and then the book I'm reading mentions Christmas. I'm like, oh, we're living in the same timeline, you know.
The environment around it gets
exactly,
you feel more indulged in it.
But yeah, I feel like I'm at this point now where I'm okay with like, I guess technically DNFing, and it's like, even if that means I'll come back to it eventually, I've just come to realize sometimes it's just like not the vibe, it's not the time for this book right now, and so maybe I have to pick it up later. And that's happened before. Like I've started reading, I'm like, I actually hate this book, and then a couple months later I'll pick it up again and it's like, oh, I have a totally different perspective.
Yeah, I genuinely think it's within like when you're reading it, where you're reading it. Like the first time I was reading Verity, I was at work. Not the vibe, you know what I mean? Or you're just not in like a center space where you can just fully focus and like get into the world. I think that's very important.
Yes, I agree. So you have to be in the mood.
You have to be literally in the mood, and especially like finishing a book, like all plans are canceled for the day. I have to just be in presence. So
I'm also somebody who like, I might not touch a book for like a month. But I'm like, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to come back to it. Yeah. It just means like I'm not the time. Like I remember there was a book that I was reading and you were like, oh, are you DNFing? I was like, no, I'm just like not coming back for now. I can't remember.
I remember you telling me about that.
But yeah, I was like, it's just like not the time. Even like with Throne of Glass, it's like I started it, haven't picked it up in a bit. Like I've started other books since then. And it's just like, it's just not the time. I don't know.
My friend Nicole, she DNF'd Fourth Wing.
Oh no.
I know, don't hate her, guys. She's just not fully a fantasy girl. That's and okay. I was like, that's okay.
Isn't she the one that gave you like Akatar and stuff?
No.
Oh,
that was my friend Emma.
Got it.
No, but she just like fantasy. She says that she likes fantasy, but she just couldn't get into it. She's pregnant, so and probably a lot of things else going on in her mind. But I think it's fair to maybe come back to it later. She said she'd be down to try it again.
I also just think like, again, I am so for like everything is up for interpretation. Music, books, TV shows, whatever. Any form of art is up for interpretation. We are not going to have the same opinions about it. Like even me and Cassie have different opinions on things all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
No.
Sometimes I feel like people are like, the world is ending because not everyone agrees with me, or like, you know, or one person has a different opinion.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I'm just like, it's just an opinion. And like, I feel like, I don't know, like something like that, right? If it's like Fourth Wing is like one of my favorite books and she doesn't like it. And then if you're like, why? She's like, I just wasn't vibing with it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a perfectly good reason. Yeah. Like you don't need to hound the person to ask specific questions. I'm just like, it's just not for everybody and that's okay.
That's literally fine.
And
like,
I don't know.
Fine.
I just feel like that with literally everything. It's just like, guys, we're not all gonna have the same opinions. That's the beauty
of the world of the society we're in. Okay, that brings me into this last part about just not judging people, guys. Okay, I think, even though I don't do this, I think that listening to audiobooks still makes you a reader.
I agree.
I don't know why people hate on the way people consume media. I don't think that should be a bad way. If audiobooks are the way you like to enjoy reading, that's literally completely fine.
Right.
And I get it. Like sometimes I put on like the book I'm reading, actually like reading, I'll put it on as an audiobook while I'm like cleaning or something. Or there's been a couple times where I read Fourth Wing and I looked up the chapters because I had to do something, but it just, you know, occupies my mind. I don't know why people hate on it. I just think that it's the same way as reading. You're just listening to someone talking.
People just love to be pressed about anything.
Yeah.
Like, why can't, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, guys, is your life miserable to be this unhappy? The world keeps spinning, guys. Literally. Like, I don't know. Just don't worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah. I think that it's just, people have this weird concept of what a reader is and what defines you as someone who reads books. And a lot of the times it's like, oh, you don't read the classics, then you're not a reader. Right. Or you don't know how to read real literature. You only read
romance books. It's just like, stop.
It's just annoying.
What do you want? A fucking gold star? Yeah. Like, knock it off.
And we've been... If you guys, I'm just going to trail back real quick to the video of us on TikTok of us reacting to Iron Flame audiobook. We had a lot of primarily men very upset with us because we're the typical girls who just read like smut books, or we're reading literature that's basically quote unquote porn. That's just really fucking awful in my head for someone to assume that we're just because we're girlies, this is all we're gonna read. And And so fucking be it if that's a book that I want to read. What's wrong literally. With that? So I don't know. It bothers me when other people judge other people's book choices, which is my last point. If you like to read thriller and that's all you want to read, fuck it, read it. If you want to just read the classics, then read it. You know, I think that it's just like movies and music. People have different genres they like, different tastes. And I don't know why, like, it feels like the book community is just still so, like, pressed on what kind of a reader you are.
Yeah. I unfortunately think that's, like, with everything, though. Yeah. You know?
It is.
But, yeah.
But hopefully with more, you know, women in, like, the book community, they can bring, you know, like, more light to the situation of, hey, like, you like to read these, like, smutty little books? We do, too. Let's all find a community within it. But I don't know, it's always usually men that like to hate on the women and what they're reading. But so to you boys, log off, go touch some grass.
Truly.
But that's the last one I have.
Nice.
You don't have any more?
No, that was it for me.
Yeah. How do you guys like our hot takes? I don't think they were too controversial.
I don't think so
they
either.
were widely,
like, I've seen people talk about all of these at some point. Yeah.
So if you guys have any hot takes, let us know.
Please.
We love to know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk more about our hot takes as books come up. But that's all I have for now, I think.
Yeah, that's it for us. As always, you guys can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We post on there pretty much daily. Yeah. So if you want to be up to date with what we're doing, you can follow us over there. Check out our merch, check out Patreon or newsletter. It's all going to be in that description for you.
But we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
All right.
See you later,
Have a
everyone.
good day, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Mwah.